we often get 5 out of 10 stars. And I'm happy to let you know, you might be shocked that this one...
Welcome to Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples, a channel of conversation and board games.
Hey, my name is Brent here on Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Today on the channel, we are going to go back to where it all began. Back in 2016, Cosmos released Exit the Game, The Abandoned Cabin. You were stuck in a cabin, you had to figure out these riddles, and you finally escaped. 6 years later, we are now returning and continuing the story of The Abandoned Cabin. The Abandoned Cabin is my favorite Exit the Game. I've done 20, maybe more of them. I've done a ton of them. It was the first one I ever did, so I will say I have some, some emotional ties to it because it had some really cool puzzles that kind of blew my mind, and still to this day, I still talk about them, how they blew my mind. So when I saw that there was a sequel to this one, I was rather excited. So we're going to dive into this one, spoiler-free review coming up. I'll show you what's inside the box, my final forecast coming up. Cue the thunder. So the radar overview / unboxing for Exit the Game, The Return to the Abandoned Cabin, looks something like this. Okay, so now that we have the cellophane off, let's check out what's inside this one. This will be non-spoiler because, as you can see, I have not done anything. So, once again, rulebook, how to play these games, much like the majority of, well, every one of these. Got a decoder wheel, and if my memory serves me correct, it's the same one, or it looks like the same one from the original Abandoned Cabin, which, if you follow the channel, you'll know that that is by far my favorite one. So what else do we have? Stop. Don't do anything with that envelope. Not going to show you. Stop. Another envelope. Another envelope. Should not open it. Then you got a few things here. And then looks like a room layout. Oh, look at that. Okay, so you're gonna, I guess, build this cabin? Physically build it? I'm not sure. Win big. Says stop. Don't do anything with it. Another one. Stop. Okay, and then, much like all the Exit games, a deck of cards. So there you have it. That's what you get inside The Return to Abandoned Cabin, as mentioned. Non-spoiler because, well, I haven't done any of it, as you just witnessed. So, there you go. Return to Abandoned Cabin. Let's check out the final forecast. So the final forecast for The Return to the Abandoned Cabin. Back in 2016, the original came out, The Abandoned Cabin. It was my favorite one. It still is my favorite one. The first one I did, it got a lot of emotional ties to it because I had a fantastic experience that I'm still talking about to this day. It had 2 specifically amazing puzzles. The puzzles were good, but 2 of them specifically were like mind-blowing. And so when I saw the sequel to it, I was pretty pumped. 2020, a lot of us stayed at home, didn't do much. Life was a little bit crazy. That year, Nicole and I, we did a whole bunch of these Exit the Games, and so I've done virtually all of them. There's a small handful I haven't done. I think there's around 25, which is crazy to think. You got like 25 of these Exit games and 10 puzzles in each, so that's like 250 puzzles that the designers, Marcus and Inka Brand, are coming up with. That's just mind-boggling to me. Just amazing. And they're being stretched once again in this one. I will say, when you start this one, you build this little diorama of the Abandoned Cabin. I think that's really, really cool. You just get submerged, or immersed, I should say, into the story. And if you have never done the original one, I will say this. Do not do this one until you do the original one. I think your experience is going to be a little less exciting if you do them in reverse order. And this is like an ongoing story. The first one, Arthur Funbeq traps you in a cabin, you escape. Well, hopefully, yes. You escape, and then I think he is a reoccurring character in The Castle and The Sinister Mansion and a few of the other ones, and then he's back in this one as well. And I like the story that's kind of continuation. And I feel that if you haven't done the original one, you're going to lose a little bit of the whole story and the puzzles. And I'm going to not ruin or spoil anything. It's really hard in this one. Normally I can talk a little bit about specific puzzles without ruining it, but I feel if I talk about any puzzles in this one, I'm gonna ruin it. So I'm not going to do that. I will say as well, many times these exit the games potentially can be reset. I've seen people, try to reset them by not cutting things up and by photocopying papers, or just tracing things out. This one, I don't think it's physically possible to reset. If it is, please in the comments tell me how you can, because I really honestly don't think it is physically possible to reset. The designers, Cosmos, they're really stretching their imagination and their levels of creativity in amazing ways to continue to do these exit the games. It's just fantastic. I love the decoder wheel as well in this one, has numbers and as well as colors. The original one did it. Some of the other ones have done that in the past, but I think they've moved more to just straight numbers. So often you're trying to find a 3-digit code. And I think it's a little easier when you're translating these into different languages to talk about numbers when it comes to specific puzzles with like wordings and things like that. So I can understand why they do that. But I loved seeing the colors and the numbers and the combination on how they mix and match those in this one, because then you're not just distilling every riddle down to a 3-digit code, but rather it may be, colors mixed with numbers, and then just the way they do that, I found that it was super cool. If you follow the channel, you'll know that Nicole and I, my wife Nicole, we do these, as mentioned, and we often get 5 out of 10 stars. And I'm happy to let you know, you might be shocked that this one, we in fact did get 5 out of 10 stars yet again. It doesn't matter what level they are, difficulty level, we tend to just get 5 out of 10 stars. It just, the way the cookie crumbles, I guess. But overall, this is a fantastic one. If you've done the original Abandoned Cabin, I highly suggest picking this one up. I highly suggest picking this one up if you haven't done the original, but just do the original one first. Absolutely fantastic. 90% chance of meeples for this one. It was just an absolute delight. So yes, the Return to the Abandoned Cabin, 90% chance of meeples. My name is Brent. Check us out on Facebook, Cloudy with a Chance of Meeples. Remember, grab your umbrella. The forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember to grab your umbrella because the forecast is cloudy with a chance of meeples.